All right, thank you for coming out. Thank you to Debbie, thank you to Jody, who I just met, and to David Brommer, who run the event space here. If you've not taken an event space course, definitely get involved here. It's one of the best things in photography. It's a free event for you, and they bring in a lot of photographers just to help you increase your business, get better at technique, lower your gear transport, which is what we're about today. I also want to thank Bernadette for coming in. Come on, hon, stand up. Thank you, Bernadette. Bernadette graciously comes with me from Connecticut. We take the train together, we come in together, and then we go home because we're pretty exhausted by the end of this. But she's wonderful. She's my hair and makeup artist back home, and this is her day off from the salon, so she comes in for us, and she's wonderful. Okay, so I'm Bob Harrington. I want to say thank you also to my sponsors, Expo Imaging, maker of the Rogue Flash Bender system, the Expo Disc, a white balance tool, and California Sunbounce. Start the slideshow right away. Expo Imaging and Rogue Flash Benders, all right, and California Sunbounce, which is distributed by Hasselblad Braun here in the States. We'll be using all of their gear today, not because they pay me to do so, because they do, but because I use it all the time. I have an editorial shoot tomorrow afternoon, and I'll be bringing my small kit with me. And it's a simple, easy food shoot. Anybody here do food photography? Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Isn't it? This is Naftali. Stand up, man. He's been to many of my events. Thank you for coming out. Food photography is great. Editorial photography is great. One of the great things about it is after you are finished with your shoot and your magazine uses whatever they're going to use, you can continually sell images to your client. All right? So I'll be shooting a restaurant tomorrow. And after the magazine runs their chosen photos, their selects, I'll be able to sell or license images to that particular restaurant. And that's more income for me, number one. Plus, when you shoot food, 99% of the time, you get to eat it, which is great. You get to sample this great new restaurant you probably haven't been to before, and you get to eat. And if you don't get to eat, you bring it home with you. And if they don't serve you anything, they don't let you bring it home, then they don't get any photos. Okay. So this is, hang on, this is me, Robert Harrington Studios. I have a brand new website up. It just went live on Friday. I did it through Livebook, so I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to do this because we were chatting earlier about how technologically challenged I can be, and some photographers are, especially older photographers who have a hard time transitioning out from the non-digital world to the fully digital world. So I have a brand new website, robertharringtonstudios.com. My blog is linked to it. Expo Imaging, of course, is my main sponsor. Sunbounce.com is all the California Sunbounce gear. My Twitter account's Bob Harrington2. Facebook is Bob Harrington. And my new book coming out this spring is called Photographic Lighting, and it's by Ammonite Press. And there's a really great chapter, Chapter 7. Bernadette is Chapter 7. It is called One Speed Light, 13 looks. I give you 13 different looks that you can do with one speed light, an umbrella, and a reflector. And it's really pretty amazing, and I'm trying to come up with more looks to expand that. But one speed light, umbrella, and reflector with 13 different looks. It's really pretty cool. So take a look for that in probably March, April. March, April, May, somewhere in that time frame. Okay, so we're all about today what you take with you, how to pare your kit down, what goes in a pro's kit, how do you want to travel, okay? This date, January 14th, marks the beginning of workshop and presentation season for me. After today, I'm traveling fairly heavily between Boston and DC and expanding out to the South and to California this year. So I'll be all over on the road. So I need to pack a kit that I can take with me. And one of the things I want to help you to do is pack a similar kit, or take what you need and leave what you don't need home, because you don't need those huge light stands. You don't need 4, 5, 6 speed lights. You can do a lot with a little. And that's always the theme that I bring with me, is how much you can do with a little. This is my 10-foot travel bag. This goes with me everywhere. It does see different variations on what goes in and what goes out, all right, but it's pretty stock standard. This bag has been in a cargo hold of an airplane and has exited, thankfully, complete and intact. It was a little nerve-wracking putting it inside of one of those like small flying vacuum cleaners. You know, that commuter jet down to DC, man, wow. I was a little scared, but it came out all right. This is when I open it, this is what I look at. This is what I bring with me every day, whether I'm shooting or not. When you guys go into business as photographers, you're going to find that you spend a little less time shooting and a little more time getting work. Doing paperwork, doing billing, doing time with your accountant, okay? Your shoot time, actually, my shoot time has gone down a little bit, but my office time has gone up. But I don't mind because you do a good shoot, you get paid well, and then you have plenty of time for everything else. Networking, marketing, it all has to figure into that. So anyways, I took a photo of my bag when I opened it, and I actually emptied it and cleaned it for you. So on the bottom of the bag, this is what goes with me every day. Across the top is, I'm a Nikon guy, I'm a Nikon shooter. All right, I have a 70-200, 2.8 VR, 60mm micro Nikkor, a 35-70, that's my mid-range zoom. I stuck with the 35-70 because it fits nicely in my bag, right? I would love to get the 24-70, but the smaller unit fits perfectly in my bag. My D3, of course, a Rogue grid. If you're not shooting Rogue flash benders, check these products out. We'll probably be using a Rogue grid today later on when I start shooting with Bernadette. It's a fantastic product. Across the second tier is a SB910, 2 Nikon SB800s, a bunch of spare batteries, right? Because you have to carry spare batteries with you wherever you go. Storage cards, an Expo disc, a spare battery, and a couple of pens, and a Sharpie. Always keep a Sharpie handy. Next here is 3 battery packs. I have a SD9 and 2 SD8As. Those are the battery packs for the flashes. When we get to the shooting part, I'll go over all the gear and how it's set up. 4 Pocket Wizard Plus 3s. It's 1 per flash and 1 for the camera. Okay, I do 99% of my work with this kit right here. A Sekonic light meter. Even though I don't use it very often, I have that. I'm of that disposition where I just can't leave it in the studio. It needs to come with me. Even if I don't use it, it's got to be there. 1 base plate for a speed light, a couple of filters, which is a polarizer, a magenta, and a 3-stop neutral density. If you're shooting against some really nice bright light, you can drop some of that light down and lower your exposure with a 3-stop neutral density filter. Gaffer tape. Don't ever be caught without gaffer tape because it will save you. Okay, you can buy it right downstairs in the lighting department. My iPhone charger and an iPod, or my iPod mini. Don't ever be without music either, because music can really save the day, right? Yes. Okay, when I open the lid on the tippity top, this is what comes out. Kodak gray card. While I do use the Expo disc, I also use the gray card, because the Expo disc you don't get a photograph of. It just takes the white balance preset. So I do the white balance preset, then I'll take a photo of the card. So I'm doubly covered, okay? This is coming from film. I come from film, so it's really one of those things I just kind of hang on to, like my light meter. Across the second tier are my 2 adapters for presentations. When you call up somebody and say, I'm coming in for a presentation and I have my VGA adapter, are we good? They say yes, and you show up, and guess what? It's not VGA, it's exactly. So I carry both of them, and they're both with me all the time, every day. So I never have to look for them. My cord to shoot tethered, we'll be shooting tethered today. I have 3 sets of Rogue gels. Look at the Rogue gel system. I would never carry colors that are in these packages, right? I would carry CTO, half CTO, maybe a fluorescent color correction gel. These small packages have a lot of different gel colors in them that I would never carry. The rust, steel blue, steel green, you can do some really great color effects with them, and they fit right into your bag. Across the bottom tier, a couple of lens cleaning cloths, spare battery for my meter, a Sony adapter. Who shoots Sony in here? Anybody? Okay, we have 1 Sony guy, 2 Sony guys. You Sony guys are old Minolta. They have the old 3-prong hot shoe, so I carry an adapter with me for when I run a workshop. That's important for me, because if you came to a workshop with me, you wouldn't be able to shoot without that adapter. All right, so it always stays with me. An extra base plate for my tripod. One of the 2 most important things you could never, ever, ever be without, and I'm going to walk over this screen and point them out. One is a bottle opener. Because when you leave here at 2 o'clock and you want to have a beer with your friend Bernadette, what do? You got to have a bottle opener.
Long train ride home.
Second one is this little itty bitty, and I'm going to pass this around to you. This is a multi-tool. Anybody ever see these? Okay. I got that one for about $6 at a local home center. And it's about 1.25 inches square, and it opens up, goes to a screwdriver, a clamp, a clipper. All right. I was in the DCA. I was in the Washington, D.C. airport, and the handle on my bag broke. So I broke that out, unscrewed it, fixed it, screwed it back together again, went back in. It will go through airport security, not a problem. I keep a couple extra Allen wrenches around for changing my base plates. The 2 battery door covers. If you're a Nikon shooter, the SB800s have an extra battery pack that goes alongside. It has 5 batteries. If anything ever happens, I can take that off and put that old cover back on and just run with 4. Doesn't take up much room. And then a couple of extra wires and adapters for speed lights and strobe lights from my pocket wizards. All right. All that packs into that bag and goes with me everywhere. Let's talk about on the road with gear. Okay. Who goes to a shoot with a ton of stuff? Okay. All right. It's good that I subscribe to the methodology or the theory that I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. Okay, so I want to have what I need with me. I don't want to have to run out to B&H because I can't. I live in Connecticut, and there's one local supplier near me, and it's really difficult to. They don't have the selection B&H has, so I try to make sure I have everything with me. This is my daily kit that goes in my truck. This is the kit that I bring to all my workshops and to most of my presentations, but not this one. So this is a Tenba 38-inch roller bag. All right, I like Tenba bags because they're made right here in New York, right? And Tenba is a really good company. When I open it, this is what I see. Okay, 2 Rogue flash benders with strip panels on them that I made, and I'll show you how to make. Open it up, that's what I look at, I empty it out, and that's what comes out of it. All right, this is a great bag, holds a lot of stuff. You need to be really good at packing. If you're good at packing, you'd be good at this. Right on the tippity top, I want to mention too, if you guys go to the B&H Event Space website, click on this event. At the very bottom, there's a link to all this gear that you can buy right here. All right, all this gear is right there, and you can choose it and purchase it. It's all the same stuff. I buy almost all my stuff from B&H. There's 6 Manfrotto 1052 BAC light stands. So out of that little bag comes 6 light stands, which is awesome. A California Sunbounce Micro Mini reflector, which we'll talk about. This little guy right here, that's a focusing light. So if my subject is not in bright light, I have some light on a person. I can focus on them, which may be the case tonight, but we'll see. A couple of speed clamps, a blow-it fan. When I run a workshop, I try to bring a fan in that gets some hair moving and make it, a little more dynamic. 3 Rogue grids. I love the Rogue grid system. I use it a lot. 2 PhotoFlex convertible umbrellas. I always carry an umbrella. I think an umbrella is the most versatile tool a photographer can have because there's so much that you can do with it, especially a convertible, where you can use the umbrella reflective style or take the cover off and use it shoot-through style. There's a lot that you can do with an umbrella. Below that is 2 Matthews 40-inch Hollywood grip arms with their attendant grip heads. That's a great deal. If you go to B&H and you click on that link, you'll see my review at the very top. It says, I love these things. And I love them because they're made of stainless steel and you can cut them. Okay? Here's a good friend of mine. He owns a company in Massachusetts. He's been in this business 40 years. He's never heard anything like this. I take my grip arms and I cut them. And the Matthews are stainless steel, so you just cut it with a hacksaw, take a file and clean the end up a little bit so no one gets cut on it later on. If you're not handy, I guarantee you know somebody who is, right? For a cup of coffee, you can get someone to cut it for you. All right, this is a 38-inch bag. I have a 40-inch bar. I cut 4 inches off the end, and now my bars fit right into my bag. And I have a great small boom system. All right, these are great items to have with you. Below that is a Manfrotto backlight stand in 2 pieces. These right here, this is a Manfrotto pencil point. These are the two 4-inch pieces that I cut off of the grip arm that I keep in the bag, and I can put on the opposite end of the grip arm and hang something off like a weight bag or something to hold my stand down. These are great add-ons, and they're great to have with you always. Across the bottom are our Rogue flash benders. I have 3 large and 1 small that I carry with me. The 2 large ones, I made strip panels. And if you enter the Rogue system at all, you take the diffusion panel, you take 2-inch gaffer tape and put 2 rows down either side, and you make a strip panel out, a strip softbox out of it. The Rogue system throws light all over the place. When you make the strip box, you concentrate that light only in the strip, and it works really well. Okay, this is the travel kit that I have with me today. This is the one that will bring on location. This is the one that I will bring with me tomorrow when I am shooting editorial. I'm shooting food editorial tomorrow afternoon. This is a generic bag. I don't remember where I got it. I'm pretty sure Impact, is Impact? Impact has a bag very similar to this, about 3 feet long. All right. This bag, I open this up, and this is what comes out of it. It's very simple. 4 light stands. Right? The Manfrottos stack together, so they fold flat and stack one on top of another, and they're awesome. California Sunbounce Micro Mini. Wouldn't go anywhere without this, like the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. A PhotoFlex umbrella. The grip head on the right is the head that mounts the reflector to the light stand, so I can work hands-free. Okay? We'll get to this when we start shooting. I work alone. All right, if I hire an assistant, it's usually for a larger project, but on the smaller projects, I do alone, and I do 99% of my work alone. So it's great to have this second set of hands right here. I can move and rotate this reflector and put it anywhere that I want. See that? Now I can lock this in, and I can go to work myself. I don't have to wait for anybody to hold it for me. I can weight it down with my bag or a sandbag. It's really a great piece of equipment. Okay. This shot right here, we're shooting just outside Madison Square Park. And I brought the small kit with me, and I have 2 Rogue flash benders, and on the left side, a Rogue grid going. Right, it's the middle of the afternoon. I think we're on about 24th Street. This is a Credit Suisse building right next to Madison Square Park. And the shot that resulted from this workshop, something like that. Okay, 3 small flashes, 3 small pieces of gear. People were holding the light stands, and that's all. That's another great thing about these light stands. If they're so lightweight, you can literally work all day with it. Right, you can stick it on your foot, hold it out like this. It's a great piece of equipment. Okay, the umbrella. The umbrella is one of my favorite things ever because you can do what? Anybody?
Shoot through it or everything? Reflect.
Who said yes? And who said everything?
Everything.
Everything. What's your name?
Bill.
Bill, I remember you, Bill. What's your name?
John.
John. Bill and John come up with, you can do everything with it. And you can. There is so much you can do with an umbrella. Reflective style, shoot-through style. Anybody ever hear of it being used crunched style? Okay, right? You just collapse it over the light source and just shut the light down. It's awesome. You can do so much with an umbrella that I always have one with me. Here we are. This is my friend Lori on the right. We're at a workshop in Norwalk, Connecticut, and she's holding a second speed light. And we wound up with a shot that looks like that. Okay? I moved the model out of the bright sunlight, moved her into the shade, and I added that hair light for her. Okay, food editorial again. Sometimes you are asked to work in crazy locations, in very busy working restaurants at the worst times ever, like lunch hour. So this is a busy working restaurant, and I have no place to work inside the restaurant. But they have this little bench here at the entrance. So I set my light up close to it. I set my speed light on. And I took about 20 or 30 shots, and in between that time, I had to move the light probably 5 or 6 times because people were coming in and out, right? This is a working restaurant. Wound up with a simple 1 light setup, okay? I wanted that dark background to contrast against the white of the plate. It really gave me something simple yet creative, okay? With like no room to work. I literally had no room to work. It was unbelievable. So you can, again, the theme is do a lot with a little. This shot did not get chosen. I wish it did. I would have photoshopped out some of the lettuce. I would have cleaned some a little bit of the lettuce up. When you work editorial, when I work editorial back home, I'm always alone. So I have to roll in, meet the restaurant owner, get them to make me something that's hopefully one of their spectacular dishes, right? Their best dishes on the menu. They hand it over and they say, here you go. So you have to style, you have to figure out the lighting, and you'll have to do it in like 10 minutes. If you guys want to learn food photography, just grab any food magazine and look at it and reproduce it. That's all I did. And they started to hire me, and I got pretty good at it. I style it. I grab a knife and fork, I make sure it's clean, stick it on the corner of the plate, right? It's a lot of fun. It's easier to work with fresh food than it is to work in a studio where they're bringing food out. It may have been made a little while ago, where you have to sear it, right? You have to use a little bit of white glue, you prop things up. It's harder to work in the field, so you have to learn to work quickly. But once you learn to work quickly, you can pick it up pretty good. I love shooting. I love shooting like this. I absolutely love being in the middle of everything. Like at a workshop, we got thrown out of Madison Square Park, and I was loving it. When the cops came and said, you're out of here, it's like, yeah, man, all right. Draw all that attention to what we're doing, right? Get people involved. It was cool. I didn't get arrested, thankfully. Here's another restaurant that I did. This was a sports bar, and I used a reflective umbrella, okay? And up in the upper right corner is a row grid. And the umbrella on the left opens up all the shadow on the left side of the food, and it opens up some of the background on that dark paneled wall. And the grid adds some highlight to the top of the brioche bun, the French fries, and some of the ketchup. There's a little jar of ketchup there. So we'll talk about gear. 2 light stands, right? 2 speed lights, 1 umbrella, and 1 grid. And that's it. That's what we wound up with, right? Very simple, very easy. Magazine can stick it right into its format, and we're done. I really like that. I like that shot a lot because I was able to open the background up with the umbrella. The umbrella threw so much light that it lit this side of the food, but also opened the background up and gave me a little detail in the background, okay? This was a great shot. That was awesome to eat. That's a Black Angus burger, okay? That's a Black Angus burger with melted Swiss cheese, bacon, onion rings, tomato, an egg, avocado, lettuce on a brioche bun. So food photography is great. If you can get into it, it is great. One of the things you should try to always do is take a behind the scenes shot so you know what you're looking at later on, right? You can remember your settings, you can remember what the things look like. I fail miserably at that, so it's really hard for me to remember to do that. But when I took the behind the scenes, there's nothing behind it. All that stuff had been cleared away. But I tried to use some glasses. I tried to use something that was behind it for a little bit fill behind you, you know? Once again, you're the food stylist. You have to figure out what your client wants, your magazine client, or your editor wants, you know, and also what you can sell later on to the restaurant. Yes?
Do you ever bring a laptop or a tablet with you?
What's your name?
Bob.
Bob?
Bob.
Bob asked if I ever bring a laptop or a tablet. If I have the time, I do. If I don't have the time, I don't. Sometimes there just isn't time. This was at a restaurant in my town called Crush. This is at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just before the dinner hour on a Thursday night. So while I'm shooting, people are starting to cycle in. So it's really not, sometimes it's just not conducive to bringing a laptop and shooting tethered. I wish it was, because it would be so much easier.
Sure.
Yes?
Sorry, one more question.
Go ahead, Naftali.
Do you use a tripod when you shoot food at all, or you always handheld?
So Naftali asked if I use a tripod or if I use work handheld. I do both. I shoot both. I set my tripod up, I take my stills, but I always find myself not getting the angle that I want. So sometimes I'll go freehand and I'll work around the whole thing. All right. This also comes into speed, because as people are cycling in to come have dinner, suddenly the kitchen gets busy and they want you out. It's really a crazy racket. I love it. It's really a crazy racket. It's a lot of fun. Yes, I do, and sometimes I don't. This is not a tripod. I balanced myself on the table and took the shot. Okay. I use a 60mm micro Nikkor. I like the 60mm field of view, and I like the amount of depth of field I get. at 60 millimeters, okay? The 105 is a little bit tighter. 60 millimeter, I get more, just slightly more depth of field. This is probably shot at about f8, okay? 1/125th of a second at about f8.
Do you use light meter for this? Or
What's your name?
Steve.
Steve, I don't use a light meter. This I'll chimp. I just take my shot and go. Once again, editorial work, especially at this level, is quick. It's quick. If you have, if you're doing a corporate shoot, you have more time, which I'll get to. I have some corporate shots here. This kind of stuff, I don't have that kind of time. If I do, I'll take a quick reading and just adjust as I go. Okay, we'll get to the corporate stuff, then we'll wrap it up and start shooting. This is an office in Stanford. If you guys ever, who works corporate? Anybody does any corporate photography? Headshots, stuff like that? I love that stuff. That's my favorite thing to do. I love that stuff. Everybody's neat, they're clean, they come in, they stand, you take the shot, and they move along. It's great. So this is in Stamford, Connecticut. I forget the name of the office. I did this job with another photographer. Their office manager wanted two backgrounds, bright white and something muslin, something in a traditional muslin look, like a brown muslin. I didn't shoot any of the muslin shots. I shot the high key, okay? So I have a light kit with me. Look at my kit. On the left side is a light stand, speed light, shoot-through umbrella, all right? On the right side is my California Sunbounce reflector on a light stand, okay? On the floor is an SP800. One of the things about shooting in this kind of area is that ceilings are usually around 8 feet. So you're bouncing light, not only sending light to your subject, bouncing it off a reflector, light's also bouncing off the ceiling, okay? In this next shot, you'll see that. See how the light's bouncing off the ceiling? You're getting a little more light added to the top of your subject and to the top of the background. The light on the floor lit the background. The light flowing across the top helped to light the background as well. And here's a final select. That's out of the camera. I have not adjusted anything. Background could probably use a little touch-up in the upper right corner. But for right out of the camera, in a working office where like people are still, like you're shooting and people are walking by you, it's crazy. It's not that bad, right? Like, boom, done. All right. I think we did 20 lawyers that day. So I did 20 high key, and my friend Stephanie did 20 on the muslin. Yes.
What did you reverse the umbrella? I'm curious for the headshot.
I'm sorry.
The umbrella you reversed.
Yep.
How come you do that?
What's your name?
Mike.
Mike. Mike asked me how come I used a shoot-through umbrella. How come I reversed the umbrella and went shoot-through instead of reflective for that shot? Let's go back to the setup. I like the shoot-through umbrella for portrait work more than I like the reflective umbrella. Reflective throws a lot of light everywhere. It just tosses light all over the place. So initially when I did the two restaurant owners, that was fine because I wanted to mix light sources and make it look like they weren't lit separately, make it look like they were in the scene. For a headshot or a portrait, when you use a shoot-through umbrella, you have the ability to aim your light, okay? And I always aim my speed light more towards my reflector than my subject. And the reason for that is so much light's being thrown around, you're not directly hitting your subject, you're actually wrapping your subject with light all the way around, and it's softer and more pleasing. So that's a right out of the camera shot. Light's nice and soft, shadows are nice, very simple, it's bright, right? He's well exposed, there's no blown highlights, okay? Whites are good, colors are good. I was able to aim my light to my reflector. That's why I go shoot through that way. Okay, this is in Bridgeport, Connecticut. This is a law firm that actually Bernadette worked with me on. She did all the hair and makeup for everybody in the office that day. We did it a couple of days. Yeah, this is a law firm called Koskoff and Beater. And I set up in Mr. Beater's office. I have two speed lights in the back, making a high key background. Okay, those two speed lights are only lighting the white and are overexposing the white. I have a chair for him to sit on, the subject to sit on. In this particular case, I used a softbox. And I wanted to use a softbox because I wanted to control the light a little more than an umbrella. All right? So in this case, I changed my kit up just a little bit. I went from the umbrella to the softbox. I have my California Sunbounce reflector opposite the subject. And this is what I came up with. That is Richard Beater, the managing partner of the firm, shot under that particular setup. And it's perfect white high key in the background. He's off the background far enough where none of the light's affecting him. Okay? And did he put makeup on him? Powder. He has makeup on. So hair and makeup are crucial. Find yourself a good hair and makeup artist. Okay? Well, he doesn't have that problem. He had the shine going, so he needed some powder to take some of that off. We were talking about this earlier. I think this is the last one in the series. I did a commercial job for an old friend of mine. He called me up and said, I want a photograph of myself in the back of one of my vans. I was like, all right, sure. As long as the check clears, we're cool. So he's an HVAC contractor in the town where I live. He got one of his vans completely cleaned out. They took all the tools out of it, all the gear. He had it washed, armor all. It was beautiful. It was like brand new. Pulled it into his driveway, into his shop rather, I'm sorry. I took an SB 800 on the right side and pumped light into the back of the van. So the back of the van was lit, all right, separately from the front of the van. I have a shoot-through umbrella as my main light. I also have, let's see, the next shot should show another speed light in the corner behind the door. And that's adding a little bit of detail light on the side of the van and up and around the top of his head. All right, so wait till we get to the final shot. It's hilarious. So we have this great HVAC van, totally clean, 3 speed lights. You can't see the reflector in the next shot. Is that it? The reflector is behind me here, but I do have this up. And there's my setup, right? 3 speed lights going, 1 through the side door, 1 on the corner of the van, and 1 as a main light. It's a big, broad main light. My main light's right over here, and I want a lot of broad light into the back of that van and on my subject. Here's the final. Oh, hang on, sorry. There it is, there it is. All right, okay. Who laughed? Raise your hand, because I did when you called me to do this, right? I'm driving down the road, and guess what I see on the back of his van? He sent this photo out to the sign people. The sign people made an 8-foot by 8-foot stick-on, okay? So and they have a cut alongside the edge of the van. So when you're driving behind him, it looks like he's in the van waving to you. I'm telling you, this guy's a marketing genius. It is amazing the marketing behind it was outstanding. I drove behind it, I took a picture of it with my iPhone. I was like, that is the coolest thing, one of the coolest things I've done. Right? It was really just a cool thing. I did a whole round of shots for him. My photos have been with him. He's on the side of a bus. Right now, he's got a photo like this on the side of a bus. It's great. My point is, 3 speed lights, right? Two umbrellas, 3 speed lights. That's about it. Right? This is a great shot, great commercial type shot being used right now with very simple gear. I would love to run around with my pro photos, which I think I might sell. But you know what? If you get a strobe light, everything's bigger with strobe lighting. You got a strobe light's bigger. Soft boxes are bigger. You have speed rings. You have to have heavier light stands. You have to have, everything needs to be bigger. And as you transport it, your boxes get bigger. And when things get bigger, what do they get? Heavier. Beyond heavier. More expensive. Yes, they get more expensive. Okay? If you already own a speed light, you can do a lot of this kind of work with just 1, maybe 2 speed lights. All right? Have fun. This is my dear friend Bernadette. Have fun. Who is here with who's on the High Line with us? Anybody? Yes, the High Line. What a great day. Absolutely fantastic day. Have fun. All right? I love to engage my clients. I try to have as much fun as possible. I come from an industry where I was not having fun, and now I have a lot of fun. And I get to make some money and meet a lot of great people, right? So have fun with your clients and your photography. I want to mention 2 things that did not make it into the bag photos that I totally forgot about. 1, hand sanitizer. Okay, keep hand sanitizer with you all the time, especially if you travel. Who's gotten sick on the road? Right? You wake up, you have a presentation Sunday afternoon, and you wake up Sunday morning and you don't get out of the bathroom for 3 hours, you are very unhappy. Keep hand sanitizer with you. Cliff bars or any kind of protein bar. Keep some food with you at all times, all right? You may have to go from job to job, right? Or you're away from your house or away from a deli for a while. Keep something with you you can snack on, okay? Or keep your talent happy, because that's more important. Keeping the talent happy. All right, that's about it for the slideshow. We're under an hour, so we're doing really well on that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me start up my software and we'll do some questions and answers and see if I can help you guys out right now. Yes, what's your name?
Carol,
Oh, I'm sorry, Carol.
what size is the camera bag?
That's a Temba. It's a Temba Rody 2.
Okay.
It's the smaller of the. There's two models. It's the smaller of the two models. Once again, if you go to this link on the B&H Event Space website, on the very bottom is a link to all the big gear I have with me: light stands, California sunbounce, that bag. Okay, Bill, right?
How does that fold up, the sunbounce?
Okay, let's talk about the California sunbounce. They are new to me. This product I've owned for about 6 years. As a sponsor, they are new to me this year. This is a great setup. I really like their products. I will forewarn you that they are not for the faint of heart when it comes to paying for them. But you have, it's an aluminum frame, very sturdy. If anybody's ever opened up a 42-inch or a 60-inch round reflector and you grab it by the end, the thing falls like this, like a pizza, right? It kind of just falls down, and this does not. This is very sturdy. What I like about it is I can hold this up here. I can bounce flash off of this to my subject or to wherever I want. When I was shooting weddings, I would have an assistant hold this up, and I would bounce flash outside, bounce flash into my subjects and not light them directly. You pull this out, and that's it. You roll this up, and it comes a nice handy carry bag you slip it right into. You're done deal. That's one of the reasons I really like it, because it lays flat, right? A 42-inch round, you can't really put anywhere. This will slip right into my bag and sit right along my light stands perfectly. It's really a wonderful, wonderful system.
Are there different reflectors available?
There are different reflectors. What's your name again? Bob. There are different reflectors available. They're all based on this system. They do have a round collapsible.
The fabric itself.
Oh yeah, they have black, they have translucent, they have white, they have a zebra, they have a gold. They have plenty of different options for you. And you put it back together. I've had this unit for 6 years. Last year I replaced the textile, this fabric. You can wash the fabric, but you can only wash it a couple times before the silvering starts to come off. But when it gets dirty after 2 or 3 years, you can throw it in the color cycle and wash it. All right. We'll talk about the Rogue Flash Bender really quickly, then we'll move on to doing a quick portrait. I have this really great idea for an editorial gig. My idea was to have Bernadette come in with me, and we would do an editorial type shoot. So I would get a call. Bernadette Romano has just been named the new director of the Yale Repertory Theater. We're going to need a headshot and something maybe in scene. Is that right? So that's my idea. What do you guys think?
Okay, good.
Okay? All right, good. So I immediately start to think what I have to do. What do I have to do? I'm going to go into the Yale Repertory Theater, which is a regular theater, and I'm going to try and get a decent headshot and a couple of shots maybe in scene. All right? So for my headshot, I'm going to do 1 or 2 lights depending on my situation. More than likely, I'm probably going to use 2 lights on you, hon, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so why don't you stand up? Well, Bernadette right here. Right about the edge of the carpet, right about there. Okay, yeah, right there.
Bob hates glasses.
No, I don't. You look so different without them. Okay, so my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set a backlight. And I'm going to get a backlight set up. We're going to take a turn to the crowd. All right, we're going to broad light Bernadette. Okay, when you broad light somebody, you broad light on the side of the part. You know what that is? Anybody? When you light on the side of the part, this is the side that's most open to the light. See that? If I put a light on this side, I'm going to get a lot of drop shadow on the side of her hair that falls over her right eye. Okay, turn to me. Okay, so I'm going to set up, number 1, a hair light. Now this is a, oh, I'm sorry. You got that okay? Yeah. This is a large, and I'm going to oppose the light. Main light on this side, hair light on this side. This is a large Rogue Flash Bender. I took the diffusion panel and I added gaffer tape to either side of it, and I made a strip soft box out of it.
So just put black gaffer tape on?
Black gaffer tape, that's it. That's it, okay? And what that does, that takes the light from the flash bender. Instead of the flash bender sending light all over the place, it sends it just like this. So I should be able to get a nice strip of light on the back of her head, right shoulder, and down, okay?
Permanent on there.
No, you can take this right off. I can ungaffer tape that, all right, if I wanted to, right? So you can buy 2 flash benders, 2 panels, have one as a main panel and one as a hair panel. That's what I do. I have a couple of these set aside, all ready to go. This is how I use them. All right, I'm going to turn my flash on. All my flashes are in manual mode, okay, manual mode. It takes a lot of light to come out of this strip here, so I'm manual mode at half power. All right, we'll try it right about there. Hon, what did we say? Okay, let's test it up. All right, one works. Okay, I'm using Pocket Wizard plus 3s. So I have my main light is I'm on channel 17. My main light is zone A. My hair light is zone B. All right, so I can shoot my main light first, then turn my hair light on from my camera. All right. So for this shot, we're going to broad light Bernadette, and we're going to use a shoot-through umbrella because it is one of my favorite things to use. When you buy an umbrella, buy one that's convertible, and you take the black backing off. And this way, you have a great piece of equipment you can use 4 or 5 different ways. It's only like 30 bucks a piece. So if it falls over and breaks, you don't break the bank. You only break the umbrella. And also, if you're afraid of the black cat and the hole opening an umbrella inside, then you're kind of stuck, I'm sorry. Can't help you. What's important is location. When you purchase one of these umbrella brackets, which is on the website, make sure that when you assemble the shaft and the head of the speed light eventually meet at the center. See that? If this shaft were going the opposite way, the light would be heading out of the umbrella. You want the light heading more towards the center of the umbrella. This makes it aimable. I can aim my light wherever I want. The main section of this light coming out through the center, I can aim it on her face or off of her face, okay? We'll talk about main light or key light placement. Who knows the basic 45 degree by 45 degree portrait light setup, pardon me, right. Who knows how to determine it? Very simply and easily. Anybody? So now, my question is, how do you determine where do you set your key light or your main light? Naftali asked me, what do you mean by determine it? A lot of beginning photographers or new photographers to off-camera lighting or strobe lighting have a hard time determining where they're going to put their key light. Where am I going to set it first? Where do I start first? The basic 45 degree by 45 degree portrait lighting setup is very simple to determine. Step to the center here, hon. Okay. Look to the screen. Stand in any room, okay? Any square, hopefully square room, bedroom, kitchen. Point your finger to where the ceiling and the wall meet. There it is. See it? So from the model's point of view, my main light is going to be right about there. Got it? So what you do as the photographer, okay, stand it back right there, is you go into the room and you look at like this and you say, okay, that's about where my initial light wants to be set up.
Have you experimented with using the pull-out diffuser versus the diffusion dome?
I have. Naftali asked me if I have experimented with using the pull-out diffuser on the speed light or the diffusion dome. I have experimented with both. I find that they're very similar.
Yes, I also found that.
It's very similar to look. So if you don't have a diffusion dome on your flash, okay, for you Nikon guys,
Oh, no, it's a dome.
no, it's a dome. If you're a Nikon shooter and you buy a Nikon flash, you get this dome with you, right? You get it with you. You get it with the flash, I'm sorry. If you are a Canon person or somebody else, you may not get this in your package. You get this great box, you open a flash up, and you got to buy this again, okay? If you don't want to buy this again, take the diffusion panel and pop that out. See that? This is for shooting with a wide-angle lens. Helps it diffuse the light right, left, right, more right and left than top and bottom. And this does almost the same thing as a diffusion dome. Okay, I use the diffusion domes because I have them, and I like them a lot. But you can use that because they are very similar in final.
So you're saying you like the diffusion dome better?
Yes, I do like the diffusion dome better. But if I don't have it, use the diffusion panel. Okay, and you'll see a difference because the light is not as hard coming through your umbrella or your flash bender. Okay, now we're going to use our reflector. Oops. Ready on? So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to light Bernadette completely. I'm going to move my light a little bit to the left. And when I move my light a little bit to the left, I'm aiming my light more towards the reflector. And I'm bouncing light on her face, okay? There's an old adage in photography that says you light around your subject, don't light your subject, okay? So we'll take an initial test shot because I'm on an editorial job, and Bernadette does not have a lot of time for me because she's a working director of a great drama production facility. And she's like, this is great. Get it done. I'm done with you. Okay? So I'm going to set my exposure to 1/125th of a second at f5.6. All right? I'm going to take a quick custom white balance, and I'm going to do it very quickly with my expo disc. When you use an expo disc, you aim this towards the main source of light. And we are good, all right? Because I'm a freak about, let's see if I have my card. No, we'll forget about it for now. Okay, so we're going to take a quick test shot. Ready? Okay, that's not all that bad. Right out of the gate, it's not all that bad, is it? It's not that dynamic. It's very like, oh, come on, get it over with, will you? Come on, get it over with, right? All right, it's not that dynamic. So we're going to get a little more dynamic. First thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our backlight. In the small flash bender with the diffusion panel, half power gives me a lot of light coming through. My main light, I have a lot of light coming through. I'm at 1/125th of a second at 5.6, and I have a decent exposure on the foreground, right? So if you guys are just starting out, 1/125th of a second, 5.6, ISO 200. If you don't know how to take a custom white balance or are not doing custom white balances, set your white balance to daylight. You'll get a really good result right out of the camera, I guarantee it. And you bring your raw file into whatever your software is, Lightroom or whatever you're using, and then just so you can correct all of them. It's important that if you don't set a custom white balance, try to set your white balance to just one setting so that they're all the same. So when you make one correction, you copy and paste all that corrections. Just you don't have to do each one individually. If you have a 300 photo session and you have to correct 100 photos, you can just go cut and paste, 100, done. All right. The absolute devil here is this thing right here. You want to minimize your time here, because when you're working here, you're wasting time. You're not marketing or getting other work or invoicing or meeting clients or potential clients. Let's see if this thing works. There it is. Okay, so I brought a hair light in. And she moved. Without me telling her to move, she moved. Now look, I have a nice hair light. All right? And I open the background up. Look at the background behind her. All right, it's a little dark, and this background's not that great. But now I open the background up a little bit. I have a slight gradient going. It's a little brighter off her right shoulder than it is off of her left shoulder. Okay, so now Bernadette's ready for her headshot. I'm going to turn her that way a little bit. Yep, swing over to me. There we go, just like that. A little more perfect right there. We have our wonderful new director. And we have a great headshot ready for the magazine. Okay, except for that little fluke of the pocket wizard. It didn't take all that long now, did it? It's okay, you can say yes. Yes, Bob.
Can we see the same shot with the eyeglasses?
Sure, certainly. You put your glasses on,
Let's
huh?
see what the reflection is.
Yeah. Perfect.
Are you shooting raw here?
Okay. Question was, Natalia asked, am I shooting RAW? I always shoot RAW. I haven't shot a JPEG. My iPhone shoots JPEGs. That's it. I always shoot RAW. Go ahead. What's your name?
AJ,
AJ, what's happening? What can I do for you?
I've read next thing. Do you always shoot with the hood on?
I do always shoot with my hoods on. If I have a hood, I put it on. AJ asked if I shoot with my hood on, and I do. A couple reasons for that. One, it does work to keep the stray light, especially if you're working close to your light sources. Number two, if you're in a crowd of people. I was in Disney with my family quite a few years ago, and I got all my photos back. This was in the days of film. They were all blurry. Before I changed this particular roll of film, I was like, I couldn't know why they were blurry. And then I remembered that the individual standing next to me in line for Space Mountain was sweaty and nasty because it was hot Florida day, and she had rubbed against my camera and had gotten smudged. So all my photos of my kids are all, not ruined, but they're all blurry. So if you have a lens hood, use it. It does work, definitely, especially if you're in a crowd of people. If you're shooting a wedding and you're jostling around trying to get the shot, you'll keep people from touching the end of the lens. Okay, someone else raised their hand, I'm sorry. Yes, what's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley, what can I do for you?
You said that you don't use Lightroom, you use the other program. The Lightroom has a DNG for the conversion.
Yes.
So what's your reason for using that instead of Lightroom?
Okay, so Ashley asked why I don't use Lightroom. One of my initial goals was to go to medium format, so I chose a software that would go to the system that I was looking at, and that was phase one. I have since decided not to do that and to stick with the Nikon D800. Well, I'll purchase this year. But I like this software. I think it's a really great software. I did not like Lightroom. I had a lot of problems with it. That's probably more towards my technical inability. But I think this software is a little bit easier for me. All right, Lightroom is a default standard though. It's a great program. You can find a lot of training to learn how to use it. All right, so we have our headshot in the can, right? We're good? We all like this headshot?
Bob, you have a question?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Go over your favorite lenses you travel with.
Sure. Bill, right?
Yeah.
Bill asked me what my favorite lenses are. If I had to strip my kit out, it'd be a 50mm lens. I work with a 50 all the time. Full frame, 50mm. Absolutely.
1.2?
1.8. I'm a Nikon guy. I have an older 1.8D.
There's a
Yeah.
1.2, but I got a 1.2 Nikon.
Do you? I don't have that one.
What is that?
This is my 70-200 f2.8. This is my second choice. Those are my two bread and butter lenses. You can do a headshot with a 50mm, but you can't get close. You can do upper body with enough to crop. You can do this with a 50mm. The Nikon 50mm 1.8 has the flattest field of view of all the 50mm Nikon makes, the current models. So as you get closer to your subject, you begin to see them distort in the frame. So you could do a headshot like this with a 50mm lens. You just have to leave enough room to crop. I'm a headshot photographer, so I would much prefer something like this. I would much prefer that, right, with a longer lens. But the 50mm, you can shoot headshot, but you're pretty much half body, with enough room to crop later on. Anybody? Go ahead.
Do you have the VR set on that?
I do have the VR on.
Does it matter when you're using a flash?
I'm sorry?
Does it matter when you're using a flash?
What's your name again?
Steve.
Steve asked if the VR vibration reduction or the image stabilization or whatever stabilizing you have in your camera or lenses matters. Does not matter. Nothing matters. The only thing that matters here is that I'm able to focus, and this is my walkie-talkie. This is me telling my flash to work, right? Camera to flash, Roger. That's it. So that does not matter. This helps you to be able to focus on your subject, maintain a sharp image. That's a simple, easy shot to get.
Because you use speed lights instead of like big pro photos and you use a very small kit, do you ever find some prejudice against some clients who make the assumption that since you're not bringing the bigger gear, you're not as professional, you're not someone who should be paid as much as someone who brings in too much just for show?
Right. This is a great question. Okay, so John asked this question. Do I find any prejudice against me for walking in with speed lights instead of strobe lights? Am I walking with a bag that looks like this, and I can do this setup and get my job done perfectly, right? Does anybody say anything? Well, you know, you didn't bring enough gear, you didn't bring enough equipment, you're too efficient, or some nonsense like that. I have not. Quite honestly, most of my clients don't even know. They don't even know. They couldn't tell you. I have one who questioned me about using strobe light versus speed light, and I took the shot, and he was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Does not matter. If I had a client who I felt I needed that, I would just haul crap in and let it sit there. Absolutely. There are some clients, some people who like that. They want to see a production. You know, I have a client who likes to see the production, even though my stuff doesn't get used, honestly. But I have not experienced anybody saying something to me negatively about that. You know, I show up with the gear I need. I explain that to them. I travel light. I bring only what I need. We'll set up. We work, and we're done. One of the things I like about this software, and I'm going to plug this software over at Lightroom for the moment, is that this software has what's called Capture Pilot. And down on the lower left-hand corner, you'll see it says Capture Pilot. And what happens is, if you have a intranet or a specific wired network that I can log on to, I can take this photo, and it will be on your iPad or iPhone anywhere within that network in the building. So my art director or marketing director can be in her office down the hall and see the photos come in as I'm shooting them over here. This is really pretty cool. When someone sees their own photo in front of them on an iPad when you're standing here shooting, and they're like, whoa, that's what you need. You need that kind of wow factor, as opposed to hauling around boxes of stuff. Yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think you said if you don't have time to custom white balance and you're in an environment, I don't know if you're saying outdoors versus indoors, you like daylight as to use the thing that says daylight within the camera?
Yes.
As your,
Go ahead.
versus like you would use like a flash. Sometimes they give you the option of flash. They give you different things if you don't have time. Let's say you're moving different environments all the time.
Right.
You just go with the daylight?
I go with the daylight. What's your name again?
Mike.
Mike, I'm sorry, Mike. Mike asked about white balance. This is a big question and issue in photography. If you're not setting a custom white balance, or if you're an event shooter and you're in crazy light all the time, try to set your white balance to one setting, so that when you correct only those photos. This is especially true with working in a studio or in a situation like this, where I can correct all my photos at once.
Would that be also outdoors if you're outside using this setup?
Yeah, if I was doing this outside, if I didn't take a custom white balance, I would set my white balance to daylight or direct sunlight. The reason I do that, or I like to do that, or teach that, is the flash setting gives you a slightly warmer image. And the reason for that is daylight setting is slightly cooler by a couple hundred degrees. So what happens to light when it passes through or touches something white? Anybody? What happens to the temperature of the light when it passes through something white or reflects off something white? It gets cooler. It gets warmer, it gets cooler in tone. Actually, it gets cooler in temperature, but warmer in tone, right? Okay, you're getting too technical. Okay, this is what happens. When light passes through something white, or it reflects off a white wall, it gets warm. It gets warmer, right? It's actually a cooler temperature, but it's a warmer tone, okay? So if you cool your temperature in the camera, but you're warming it a little bit over here, or if it's just so hard. If you're warming it in the camera, but you're cooling it over here, by the time you get through something white, they're even. See that? So they have to be offset, so that by the time you hit the middle, you're about even.
Yeah, because every situation almost changes all the time with light. Outdoors, cloudy, indoors, dark.
Yep.
So I guess the colors change all the time.
White balance is a very difficult thing. One thing I like about the Kodak gray cards is that when you buy one here, you get two cards. You get a 8x10 and you get a 3x5. Take that 3x5 and stick it in your back pocket. You put that card in the scene, take your shot, and then you can adjust it later. Okay. A lot of white balance is by personal taste. I like a very neutral tone to my photos. So I stick to the daylight 5,000 degrees. I actually bring my white balance back down.
Kind of like this.
It's perfect. I use a Rogue flash. I wrote Expo disc by Expo Imaging, and I'm dead on. I'm dead on white balance.
White balance on this right now?
White balance temperature is, let's see. $6,029. Okay. All right. You have a little bit of. The light is so bright, that's pretty much what it is. So that's a 5,500 degree flash, right? That went up to 6,000 degrees because it passed through what? White. And it passed through white twice. It passed through the plastic diffuser, and then it passed through the shoot-through umbrella.
So you're saying it goes up about 500?
500 degrees, yeah.
Reflects or goes through?
But if it reflects off of or goes through, it goes up in temperature and tone, okay? If you're a wedding photographer, you know this.
Temperature.
Down in temperature, but up in tone.
Yes.
Yes. If you're a wedding photographer, like Naftali is, you know that white balance is critical because you're trying to balance foreground, background. You have event spaces that have crazy blue, purple, green. Who's that? Tron again? Tron.
You also, in your bag, you also have an LED light
Yep.
that you carry around. In what instance do you actually use that? In what situation you would use that wise?
Okay, so Tron asked me why I would use that little LED focusing light. I put that on a light stand. In a situation like this, there's enough light for my camera to see Bernadette to focus on. All right. If she were in the back and there weren't enough light, I would use that to get a little spotlight on her. I've also used it for some event work where you can get some really great and dynamic results just using that light and exposing for that light only. All right.
You put it on your camera or on the...
I use it on a light stand
Okay.
or a monopod. Yeah, I can hold it out. Something like that. You can, those little lights come with filters for purple, green. Some LEDs favor a color spectrum. That LED is a very low-end unit, so it favors green. So I have to put a purple filter on it.
Do you have an adjustment on it?
It's only power, bright or soft, not. It's a very low-end unit, believe me. I only got it for focusing. The roto light. Anybody ever hear of roto light? Oh my God, they're beautiful. Who's seen them? Have you ever seen a roto light? Yeah. Oh my, aren't they insane? Peter, raise your hand. They're about 13 inches in diameter, ringed with LEDs, and there's $2,800 per unit. All right, they're absolutely fantastically gorgeous light, but that's a different animal again, you know. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob, could you go over two things? One is the Rogue flash bender.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like it slips over the flash. I think the one I have is actually a reflector only. And also the grids you were talking about.
Okay, yeah, what time we got? Oh, we have 20 minutes left. Why don't you have a seat, hon, and relax? All right. Okay, Bob asked about the Rogue flash bender, and we're going to talk about that right now. So, let me get this down, get this out of the way. Don't need that in the way. All right, this is a great and versatile system. And I use it a lot. And there's something new on the market, which I'll talk about in just a second. The first piece is this piece right here. And what happens is, let me get a speed light for you. You roll this tongue, put this on the speed light, roll this around. Oops, sorry. And this attaches to the speed light just like this. Very simple and very easy. Then you bend this, and you can get different effects. If I took a photo of you with this like this, I would keep light off the background, but only get light on you. See how that works? I can open up some light like that, okay? When you buy the diffusion panel, the diffusion panel goes over this.
Is that new, that diffusion?
No, this has been out for a while. I don't know how long. Peter can answer that better than me. You fold the top over, and you create a mini softbox. Can't see it. In this instance, there's a little tongue here, and that tongue goes down, this wraps around, and you lock it right in place, just like that. Now you've created a mini softbox, and the light's softer coming out of this. This is really a great tool. You can put light just about anywhere you want. In that instance, I put the gaffer tape on the sides and made that strip panel. So when we took that shot of Bernadette, look at that beautiful hair light, but it's only the hair light. right? If I had this on here, light would be going everywhere, right, left, top, all over the place. With just a little strip coming out through the center, I've got that nice little bit of hair light going. And I did that myself with gaffer tape. Don't ever be without gaffer tape.
Have you used that reflector as a tube?
Yes, I use this as a snoot. That's called a snoot. You take this off, and you roll this into a snoot.
How would that compare for the hair highlighting? Would that be too intense or too focused?
So Bob asked, how could you use this as a hair light? You can use this as a hair light. The problem is that it's incredibly direct. So one of the issues I run across when doing like a group of people, if you're doing a corporate sitting, you're doing 20 or 30 people, you wouldn't be able to use this because you're shorter than he is, and he's taller or shorter than you are. So everybody's a different height. You're going to find yourself just playing with it, and your client's going to be like, your client wouldn't care about what you brought. Your client would be like, you don't know what you're doing, which you absolutely do not want. You always want to make sure the client thinks you know what you're doing. Okay? You can use this as a hair light. It's just incredibly direct. Okay? I'm going to pull up. We've got a few more. We got a couple of minutes. Let's see if I can.
Could you use that one as a hair light?
Yeah, we're going to use the grid. We're actually going to use the grid. Let's see. Let me see if I pull up a couple photos for you guys. All right, so here's a shot. I took this in Philadelphia, and this is the snoot on the background. See the background light?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and there's a snoot on her face, and there's a snoot on her head.
That's really versatile.
And this is a atypical, this is my signature shot with this particular system is the 40s glamour. Okay, I love that look. I think that's a spectacular look, hard shadows, very hard light. All right, she's been processed a lot through Photoshop. Her face is very smooth. But that was 3 snoots. 3 of these rolled into that. So this is the grid. I'll pass this around. We got 15 minutes, so you guys can totally send it around. You take this apart, okay? This folds up into a great little package that fits right into your camera bag or your back pocket. You slip out here. There's 2 pieces of the grid system, all right? You have I can't read these. 45 degrees, 25 degrees, 45, 25. You put them together, 16. So you can get a really, really hard, sharp kind of light, all right? You can purchase a gel kit for these, which is really nice because the gels fit right into this front. You open this up. This slips into the frame, into the, what you call it? And you put the tabs on, and you're ready to go to work, okay? So there's that's a before and after. So there's a final shot, and there's how it was done. Okay?
That's the main on the left there.
This is the main light. Main light is right here. Okay?
And what's on there?
A small flash bender rolled into a snoot. Like this. Small. On her hair, which is over across the right side of her head, is a large flash bender rolled into a snoot. Okay, because it's a little more direct. And on the back is the grid with a very small pattern. See how teeny tiny that pattern is? It just opened up the background just a touch. I love this kind of look. I think it's really classic. I love the black and white. I love, right? Go ahead. What's?
Actually, the main light, that was a snoot, and that's enough to light her face and her upper body equally?
Absolutely. The smaller version of the Rogue Flash Bender, the small one, gives you a nice snooted effect, but it's so short that when the light comes out and then spreads this way, all around. So if you look at her body, she's lit, her face and her upper torso is completely lit perfectly.
No, that's
right?
what I was asking the question.
I'll send this one around too.
In the final shot, it seems that you moved the main light to the right side. That's why I was having a little confusion.
Nope, everything stayed the same. I'm going to give you a great tip. Naftali says it looks like I moved the main light. I didn't move the main light. I moved her, all right?
Okay.
So what I did, a great tip for you guys is when you're shooting a portrait, now, in this it worked really well.
Oh, I see where the main light is.
Yeah, it's right.
It's on the right. It's on her right side. It looked like it was very dark. I thought it was on her left side.
Oh, no, it's on here, right here.
Okay.
A great tip is don't move your light, don't move your subject. You work around the light. Leave everything like it is. Stand up for 1 second, hon. I'm not going to shoot. I'm just going to show you what I mean. So, say I did my headshot here, okay? Maybe I'm going to come to here. Then I'm going to come to over here. I get 3 or 4 different looks on the same lighting setup, same posing stance. All I'm doing is moving around, right? I can do that, which would bring more light to the side of her face, right? I may not like it. My editor may hate it, but I'm giving him or her a few more choices. But you can also change the complete look of your photograph by you moving around. Don't move your subject or your light. You move. How about we say we're in a pinch? All right, Bernadette, I'm in a pinch.
Okay.
So we're going to take our speed light off of here. Okay. Come on. Hang on 1 second. Let me unplug everything here.
Good situational awareness, as they say.
It's hard to go from one thing to another. Something.
Long way not to step.
Oh yeah. All right. So I'll take the battery pack off, stick it into my back pocket. If you guys aren't shooting with battery packs, try and get them for your particular speed lights because it'll make your speed light last longer. All right. We're going to use a. Where's my flash bender? Did that come back? Okay. Oh, it's right in front of me. All right. We'll use a large Rogue flash bender with a diffusion panel. Okay. And maybe we'll keep that set up. And I'm in a pinch. I'm in a hurry. Bernadette's got to get to her board meeting. Yeah, you ready, hon? Okay, I'm in a pinch. Let's go. 1/25th of a second. Oh. There it is. What do we think? Look at that. Ready to try one more time. We're in a pinch really quick. Okay. Ready one more time. Over. Now watch what I do with my light. Now I'm going to move around a little bit. What do we get? There we go right there.
Bad side.
All right. 1/125th of a second, 5.6. I'm in a pinch. How'd I do? Pretty good. Chris says I did pretty good. We're good.
Are you still half power or do you take?
Nope. My 2 flashes are set in manual mode, half power. Okay. This is especially true if you're first starting out in small flash photography. I try to standardize things for everybody, even for myself because it's easier and faster. Okay. Manual mode, half power to start. Then if you find you're in a situation that's not working for you, you can change your aperture, shutter, ISO, or your flash output, okay, or the direction of your flash. In the case of the shoot-through umbrella, I can swing it around, all right? You can change flash to subject distance. You can change your distance. You can change a lot of different things. Go ahead.
What ISO are you shooting?
200. I shoot at ISO 200. The base ISO for my camera is 200. So if you're going to get started, 1/125th of a second, 5.6, ISO 200. If you're not taking custom white balance daylight or sunlight.
Why 1/25th and not the 6-speed?
Now, what Chris asked, why do I shoot at 1/125th of a second and not the camera sync speed at like 250? That's a great question. And the answer is, who here shoots a Canon 5D Mark II? All right. Anybody shoot? Who's also shooting 5D Mark IIs? Raise your hands. Loud and proud. Come on. Doesn't matter what camera you use. We're all artists here. All right. The Canon. I run a lot of workshops, so I have to be able to make everybody be able to work and get a shot. The Canon 5D Mark II is rated at 1/200th of a second for its max synchronization speed. I'll tell you quite honestly, it's about 1/160. Okay. At about 200, you can start to see the black line entering the frame. So what I do is I try to give you a shutter speed that you can work with handheld and always get a good frame. It's up to you now to go further, right? So 1/125th to 5.6 is where I always start.
What are the workshops do you teach here?
Here, I don't know. We'll be back in the spring.
Yeah, we have some others that we're working on. They usually involve lighting or fashion. Or
Everything I do involves lighting. If you do a workshop with me, you get to shoot. All my workshops, except for B&H and one other supplier, are shooting events. Everybody gets to shoot. I supply talent, or they supply talent, whatever. Everybody gets to shoot. I'm sorry?
Your website, we can.
Yeah, I have a brand new website, robertharringtonstudios.com. There's a workshop link. There's an info link. The workshops are there. I just started to update all of it. There's a bunch of stuff coming up, Philadelphia, DC, Boston, here. Go ahead, who? robertharringtonstudios.com. Yes?
The main difference between the flash bends, the small and the large, would be just the distance of the flash going to the light?
The smaller bender doesn't bend as much, so you don't have as much control out of it. The larger one bends a little bit more, so you get more control out of it, okay? It's a softer light. It's a larger light source. There's a brand new product they're coming out because this is the XL Pro. It's twice the size of the smaller one, okay? Prior to this piece, you had to buy bits and pieces. This comes as a kit. You get the bender. You get the diffusion panel. You get this to turn it into a strip softbox. You get a silver interior. You get a black interior, and you get a white interior.
How much is it for the set?
I don't know. Peter, that's you.
It's the first time I've seen it.
It's the first time he's seen it. First time he's seen it. All right. This will be on the market end of this month. I don't know what it costs. That I cannot give you. But everything that I make, they give you in one package. Okay? So check it out. Yeah, I'm going to try and do a video on it. I've been trying to get my videographer in to take care of it, but we've not been able to get a schedule set. It's a great piece of equipment. I like these a lot. I'm sorry?
Where will the video be posted?
All the videos are going to be going on my website. They're on Vimeo and my website.
Hi,
Go ahead.
Claudia.
Yes, Claudia, what can I do for you?
You have only one camera in your kit?
I do. I work a lot locally, so one camera stays with me. If I know that I need one, I have a secondary. I leave in my car or bring with me. If I shoot a wedding, I take two. I don't normally shoot weddings anymore. That's why I run so many workshops. I don't do events and weddings anymore. I got burnt out and kind of left that part of it for now. Otherwise, I carry one camera with me, and I have a backup either locally or I'll bring it with me in a separate case with a separate set of lenses. Yes?
I guess you said before that sometimes use the Nikon CLS system. When and why would you use that as opposed to?
What's your name?
Lisa.
Lisa, okay. Lisa asked why I use Nikon CLS sometimes, a creative lighting system, as opposed to straight up Pocket Wizard. If I have a situation where I need to work quickly or I have a lot of natural light, that TTL function works really well. In that series of photos that I showed you of the two gals who own the restaurant, right? I used it there because there's so much natural light. I could have played with the exposure without adding light, but I wanted to add it, and TTL gave me a really good result right away. So, but 8 times out of 10, it's Pocket Wizards in manual mode. 2 times out of 10, it's CLS. Go ahead, what's your name?
Mark.
Mark.
I believe like you, less is more, but I use the Flex TT5 system because I like that it has the TTL system built into it already.
Right.
That's the only reason why I use those.
Mark brought up the...
AC-free zone control too.
Right, Mark brought up the Pocket Wizard Flex system for Canon and Nikon. I owned it for Nikon. What do you shoot, Canon or Nikon?
I used to shoot Canon, now I'm Nikon.
Nikon. I sold it. I did not like it. I had a terrible time with it. I had an awful time with it misfiring.
The AC-free zone controller on the top.
Yeah.
If I have 3 lights set up, I can control up and down 3 stops for whichever light. I don't have to move for
let me give you my scenario, which made me sell it. Okay? Shooting corporate, I'm shooting a bank. All the bank executives, there's I think there's 15 executives on the board, and then there was a whole range of group shots. 2 locations, same building. 3 speed lights for my corporate headshots, right? Pocket Wizard flexes under each one. TT1 on top, AC3 zone controller. Channel 1. Got it? I go to the 3rd floor to shoot the group shots. TT1 stays on. Channel 2. Pocket Wizard, regular Pocket Wizard on my Pro Photo strobes. Channel 2. Go upstairs, group shot, group shot, group shot. Go back downstairs, put it back on channel 1. Guess what? Nothing works. I had to turn the entire system off and return it all back on again. Okay?
Do it in a specific order.
You have to do it from the furthest flash. Okay, now hang on. All right. I didn't know that. I didn't know that if you left the room, it wouldn't go back and work again. So I have Bob Smith, chairman and CEO of this particular bank, sitting in the chair while I'm taking off my flexes and putting on my Pocket Wizard Plus 3s. Very unhappy gentleman. Very unprofessional looking photographer. The day after, they went for sale because I can't have that.
That's what you
know. But yeah, I understand that Canon is better. I think Nikon has a crazy encryption system to their flash triggering. I don't know how it all works. I went to Radio Poppers and they were just as bad. Okay, who another question? Go, what's your name?
John.
Yes, John.
What is the reflector size for a full-size person?
John's question is, what's a good reflector size for a full-size person? Probably 42 by 72. 42 inches by 72 inches. That gives you a good full body. They have them here. B&H sells a great reflector. It's the Impact 5-in-1. And it's 42 by 72, translucent, and it's white, silver, black, and gold. A cover that you slide over.
What size is that, like 2 feet?
This is 20 inches by 30 inches. So this is perfect for headshot, upper body, small group, nothing more than that, you know. Yes, what's your name again?
John.
John, I'm sorry.
Were you ever a gear pack rat? And if so, what was your epiphany to change the way you do it?
Yes, I'm a gear pack rat. I'm a gear junkie, like everybody in this room probably. You know, I mean, come on, let's be honest. Not only am I a gear junkie because I'm a photographer, we're in B&H Photo. It's like, Bernadette came down with me today. We were very good friends. We walked in the front door. We had a hard time finding our way around because they're remodeling the first floor. Where did we go first?
Right to the lighting.
Right to the lighting department. What made me change? Quite honestly, I got tired. I got tired of not only lugging all that stuff around. I got physically tired from lugging the gear. Too, I got tired of paying. Right? You buy a strobe light. You're going to go on the road with it. You're going to need a Pelican case or an HPRC case. You're going to need the foam inserts. You're going to need this. You're going to need the battery pack. Suddenly, you've gone beyond this. And this is a 2-bag kit that I came down this morning with. Everything came out of a 2-bag kit. 3 to 4 times that. Granted, you're going to, if you really move up in the world of photography, you're going to need that. But if you don't have to have it, don't do it. You know, honestly, I mean, this overall kit's not inexpensive, but it's a lot less expensive than picking up 3 strobes, 4 or 5 soft boxes, heavy-duty stands, sandbags, right? Yes?
Is this the kit you would fly with?
This is the kit that I fly with. Yep, I was in D.C., and I'll be back in D.C. in about a month, and I'll be in Vegas. In Vegas, I won't bring the kit. They'll supply the gear except for my camera. I'll be in California. This will come with me. This is the kit that I fly with. And that bag goes right into cargo, and I've had no issues with it. Once in a while, you get a dented leg on a light stand or something, but literally, I've had no issue with it at all. My larger kit stays with me in my truck. This one is one that really goes with me on the road. It's a great kit. Look at what we did in a short amount of time, right? It's really a great kit. The only thing I don't carry with me on the road when I fly is on those extension bars, the Hollywood grip arms, because they add too much weight to the bag, you know. And believe me, I miss them. But when I go to a location, I'll borrow some. But weight becomes a factor when you're flying. You got to pay for baggage.
So the roll-on bag, you check that bag?
I have checked that bag. It has went into cargo. Yep, very nervously it went into cargo because I was on one of those flying.
The other bag has the light stands in it.
Yep, and that goes right into cargo.
Oh, so you check them all?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Temba bag. I bought the Temba bag. Sorry?
Do you lock them?
Oh yeah, they're all locked up. I have TSA locks. I've gotten those nasty notes. Who's gotten a nasty note from TSA? Anybody? Oh yeah. When you travel with radio triggers, they're all over you.
Yeah, somebody told me about that.
Yeah, if you fly, make sure all your batteries are in separate
Even
packages.
remote release, I heard that they give you a problem.
Yeah, if you're flying with your gear, make sure all your batteries are in separate packages, right? Because you're not allowed to have any open ends on your batteries, AA's, because that could be a trigger. You can touch something to either end of the battery and ignite something, right? So all your batteries go into packages, or tape them all together and tape the ends so nothing can touch. Put all your batteries in your units, so your flashes have batteries in them. Okay, all your triggers have batteries in them, and that's about it. That's the only other concern about the radio triggers and your batteries.
But you can't do carry-on without that?
The plane I was on was smaller than this room. Overall, I think wingspan and everything was smaller than this room. It's a commuter flight. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, ordinarily, let's say if you just take a vacation, you know, this is just a fun thing. Do you have problems with like bringing a tripod, your camera gear in carry-on?
I've never had an issue. What's your name again, Marjorie?
Marjorie, yes.
Marjorie asked if you've ever had a problem with carry-on, and I have not had a problem with carry-on on larger planes. Yeah, larger planes.
But if you ask the TSA agents, they say maybe, maybe not, it'll be allowed through. Because I asked in Newark and I asked in Phoenix.
Right.
Newark said yes, it's allowed everywhere. Phoenix said it's discretionary to
The agent.
To the agent.
Yeah.
And trust me, I don't want to give up my tripod to them.
If you know where you're going, if you know where you're going or you have somebody local, ship it to them. Go to the FedEx office and ship it to them. If you're staying at a hotel, ask if they will receive a FedEx shipment and FedEx them your tripod ahead of time. And then when you get there, FedEx at home. You know? Yeah, definitely. Good, Bill.
I'm confused about the batteries when you're traveling. What the flash? You put the batteries in the flash?
Keep all your flashes and all your mechanicals with batteries in them. All right?
So you can show them it's a flash?
They don't care about that. They just don't want to see any open battery packs. Your batteries should be either stored in a separate pack, right? Or you tape them in units of 4 or 8, and you tape the ends so that nothing can touch the contact ends. That's what their concern is. The TSA cares about, if you have 8 AA batteries, theoretically you can ignite something with that.
And that goes...
That doesn't, you're supposed to have the cover on it, but I've never had that problem. My battery goes in that pack.
And that can go in the cabin or in the hold?
Either one. Okay. Either one. Yes, Chris?
Do you use any bags that you shoot out of, like while walking, if you just do something like that? I know you won't mainly do portraits like this, but...
Chris asks if I have a shoot sack, something I take with me. On the photograph on the website page, that's what I use. I use a Marmot hiking pack. And it fits my, nope, I don't use anything. When I do a walk around, I don't use anything that makes me look like a photographer except my camera. If you guys take a workshop with me, you'll see that pack. Who else? Bob, I'm sorry.
What did you do in your last life?
I was a carpenter. Yep.
That's a big life change.
It was a huge life change for me. Very difficult life change for me. Very hard to go from working Monday to Friday to go to working every day. Money was a change. It was a complete industry change.
Yourself as a carpenter?
Family business. Yeah, but never go into family business. Carol brought up a really good point about rules and regulations on flights and TSA. Sometimes it's up to the agent. Sometimes they're strict. Sometimes they're not. I flew out of Westchester Airport. The guy was asleep at the wheel. Literally, it was 5 a.m. and I don't think he was awake. I just walked right through. I flew out of Dulles. Washington, D.C., DCA, and they were all over me. They were all over me. He took me aside. I went to a separate place. He opened the bag. He emptied everything.
I had more trouble in Albuquerque than I've had in Newark.
Right. It doesn't matter. It's up to them. Lisa, right?
Yeah, if you fly on small, like European planes, they're really strict there about
Yep.
sizes of planes.
The Container Store on 6th Avenue and 18th Street makes nice little battery cases, plastic. cheap.
Perfect. You got that? The Container Store on
18th Street and 6th Avenue.
18th Street and 6th Avenue.
Yeah.
When you guys buy your batteries, you should be able to get packages for them. And you can get them here online. I know that you can. Just Google AA battery packs or AA battery storage, and it'll come up with these little nice packages. All they want is to know that the contact ends cannot meet something, because that means that you can ignite something, right? And that's pretty much all you have to do. I have plastic battery packs. I store them in there, pack them up, stick them in the back, and they're fine. Keep your batteries in your units. Make sure everything's covered up nice. Once again, it's up to the TSA. I had TSA all over me. I had TSA all over me, oh my God, in Europe a couple years ago. Woof. Okay, go ahead.
Quick question. The modern trend now is to kind of switch your DSLR now to these Fuji or Micro Four Thirds cameras because of the size and weight.
Right.
Do you see yourself doing that, or?
What's your name again?
Steve.
Steve asked if I would change from a DSLR to a Micro Four Thirds or a Fuji X100 or a XE. Is the new XE coming up? Absolutely. I would absolutely do it. Not have to lug around a D3 on vacation or.
Depth of field is twice the thing.
You know what? You learn your system and you go with that. I would definitely. I love Fuji cameras. They have great skin rendition, beautiful color, really a wonderful system. What I really want from Nikon is a Nikon FM2 with a digital back on it. Right? Olympus released the OMD, which looks like their old original Olympus OM1 model. That thing is smoking hot. I want Nikon to release an FM2 with a digital. That's what I'm looking for. I have a question for all of you. Think about these two questions, and we'll pack it in. My two questions for everybody, and you can email me your answers if you want. Off my website is fine. What is your absolute favorite thing about photography, and what is the absolute thing you hate about photography? I'm going to tell you mine. I love the sound of the shutter. I love the sound of the shutter. If I'm not shooting for a couple days, I'll just sit in my house and click the shutter. I'm telling you, it gives me goosebumps. I love that sound. Love it. Second thing, what I hate, seamless paper. You roll that stuff down and it comes too fast, it gets bent. Comes too slow, it gets torn. People step on it and it's ruined. But it's a necessary evil, I suppose. So take that to heart. Give me your two answers. Email me through my website, because I'm going to try and draw some traffic to my brand new website. And let's wrap it up. What do we say? All right. Thank you, Bernadette.
For more information, please visit us online, give us a call, or stop by our New York City Superstore. You can also connect with us on the web.